What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with African Americans on Africa. What do they have to say about the continent? Before we dive into that subscribe button, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You know, subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me, human. I talk back. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. What we got? Africa is one big country. Continent. The African continent has 54 countries. Yeah. Africans live in huts and hunt wild animals. Cape Verde, West African coast. Beautiful. Ghana. Beautiful. Nigeria. Oh my God, Nigeria. God damn. Well, you know, I seen a couple videos just talking about Nigerians having money and having bling and having expensive cars and stuff. I can see it. I can see it. Africa is a desert. Kenya. Oh my. Madagascar. Ethiopia. Africa is home to destruction, war, poverty, and disease. Ghanaian City. Cape Verde. Jeez. As you could tell, I don't know if these are comments about from American, like, well, it says African American, so I'm assuming they are. But we just don't know anything about Africa, as you can tell. Most of us don't know anything about Africa, and you can see it in the comments that are made.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear or think about Africa?
The first thing that comes to my mind is actually the shape of the continent.
When I hear Africa, I think of all the beautiful queens and kings that derive from there. Hot, dry, nice dark-skinned people, good-looking people.
Where everyone comes from, the first original continent. When I think about Africa, I think of beauty.
Beauty, peace, love, freedom, you know. Africa is beautiful, man, you know. I was born and raised there, you know. And it's freedom.
Hold on, hey, African Americans got nothing but great things to say. Nothing but great things to say about the incredible continent of Africa.
You know,
keep it going.
And it's freedom.
So when did you move here from? What part of Africa are you from?
Well, I'm from Ghana in West Africa.
Hey.
So when you first came to America, what was your impression of African Americans?
Well, like, basically, all I can say is like whatever they portray on TV way back in Africa is different from whatever you're gonna see over here and experience. Everything is different. It's already the opposite of everything.
When you came here, did you experience any negativity from, African Americans? Because on our side, typically when we see perceptions of Africa, is pretty negative. So a lot of us have like tainted views. So how was your interaction with many African Americans?
Well, to me, I'm like easily approachable. Like, I'm friendly. I welcome everything. I don't get offended when people ask me questions about Africa because like many people are ignorant. One time my big brother told me like, these guys brought the internet. And you guys have the internet, so why don't you make time and search over and have like knowledge about what goes on in Africa? Well, like basically when I started, I used to work in a warehouse job. And one thing I like about Americans, like they approach you, they call you bro. They don't even know you. They call you brother. Well, that's really a welcoming for me. But someone came up to me like, so like I just want to know something about Africa. I want to ask you a question. Don't get offended. I said, okay, no problem. I'm cool with it. And he was like, so the sneakers that you're wearing, the shirt that you're wearing, like, we're wearing the same thing in Africa? I'm like, come on. We have nice places in Africa. We have ghettos in America. So everything is the same thing.
What do you know about Africa?
Facts. So it sounds like he had a pretty positive experience. It doesn't sound like he really had anything negative. But like he said, he doesn't really get offended because he understands that people are ignorant. He understands people haven't done their research on Africa. They don't know anything about the continent. So when somebody asks him this dumb question, did you wear the same shirt, same stuff in Africa? It's like, we have nice places in Africa. There's ghetto places in America. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have nice and ghetto in every continent, in every country that you're going to find. But keep it going. I like this guy. He does seem very approachable, real cool. And we do call new people bro, like whether we met them or not. We do that.
Nice places in Africa. We have ghettos in America, so everything is the same thing.
What do you know about Africa based on what you've learned in school or seen in the media?
I don't know too much about Africa. I know more about like certain pieces like Ghana. I just learned a lot about Ghana and like the slave castles that were in Ghana.
I wouldn't say I learned much from school or the media.
Facts.
Of course, only the bad side. Well, not always the bad side, but how it's developing. It's not developed as our countries and some other countries.
They kind of portray it to be, in my opinion, an illusion of Africa, not really its true essence.
Yeah, I feel like for me, what I've grown up, I feel like seeing in the media, you see Africa as like a poor country with like poor people, and, you know what I'm saying, who just don't have much. A poor country with poor people who really just don't have much, which is like when now that like you start watching videos on Africa, you start seeing people talk about Africa, and it's like, bro, like Africa is an incredible continent with so many incredible places, with so many people that have a lot more than we have a lot of the times. And so it's just like the media and everything growing up, I feel like you get a negative perception about Africa because they're just not showing what Africa really is, the positivity in Africa, the beauty, the love. They're not showing any of that. They're just showing you negativity. And then growing up in school, they really didn't teach about Africa in school.
In my opinion, an illusion of Africa, not really its true essence. So I had to look outside of the media and what I learned in school to really learn more about Africa.
I guess something else I learned about Africa was what Akon's doing when he gave them like solar panels. But yeah, that's about it.
I actually had a speaker the other day saying that the future is in Africa, saying although it has a lot of work to be done, a lot of business is going to get done there.
How does it make you feel when the media primarily displays negative images of Africa and Africans?
It makes me feel bad because there's more to Africa than what people like portray it to be.
I feel pretty bad actually because I have discussions with like Africa or just Black history in general with my grandparents, and they still like think it's very primitive and like shanty towns and things of that nature.
I find it offensive because I do find myself, my ancestors are African.
When the media displays images like that, I wonder what they're trying to what they expect people to get out of these images, and it doesn't. It's not right. It's not right.
It's upsetting. I would like for them to just be honest about what Africa really has to offer the rest of the world, what it has offered, which is so much. And so it's offensive, very offensive.
So
it definitely is offensive. But I do feel like America does that with a lot of countries. Like, they really only show the negative side or portray the like crimes happening or anything like that. And so it's like we don't get to see a lot of great parts of so many different continents, so many different countries. We don't get to see the awesome parts because it's not being shown to us. But keep on.
And so it's offensive, very offensive.
So do you think it's like more to Africa than just like the the deserts or the child soldiers or whatever?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. There's a lot to Africa. When I was younger, I had a professor, not a professor, but my high school geography teacher. He said when you look at Africa, you should think of it as Europe because there's so many different countries, different people, and dialects.
I want to show you some pictures, some really beautiful pictures that were taken in different African countries. And these are pictures that you wouldn't typically see, in the media.
Wow.
So this is Madagascar.
That's
this
gorgeous.
is Kenya.
water is so pretty.
Yeah.
I
So
swear to God.
if the mass media began to display different, more positive, beautiful images of Africa, like this, do you think that African Americans view would change, or even like how they identify? Do you think that might change?
Definitely, even the most basic, even if you don't know anything about Africa other than what you see on TV, and then you see this, you're definitely gonna be like, wow. Even just like as a vacation place.
Definitely. I think it's more on like Black Americans and African American people like to go back to these places and do it themselves, because you can't really expect other nationalities to go into a country that doesn't really signify them or touch them as it would touch us and display those images.
And some, I definitely do believe it would change, but unfortunately, the propaganda is strong, and it's going to take a lot more than pictures to convince some people that this is where you really came from. And
I think the perspective on Africa would definitely change. I also think a lot of people would like go and like visit and like see Africa for themselves. And instead of like what you're seeing on media and what's being portrayed to you, they would go and see it for themselves. Like if these were the images and stuff that were portrayed about Africa.
To convince some people that this is where you really came from, and this is where you need to strive to get back to.
The main reason why people be like, Africa is bad, don't go to Africa, don't go to Africa, is like people that say that so they can only go there themselves and get all the resources, all the gold and diamond, you feel me? Cause like, I'm not racist, you know what I mean? But most of the people that put bad image on Africa is white people, you feel me? That's how I feel, cause I seen it, you know what I mean?
Talk to them.
White people tell people, don't go to Africa, it's filthy, it's bad, it's poverty, all that stuff, but every day when you go to Africa, all you see white people everywhere. But we're telling people don't go there, it's bad, it's not good for you. But they're over there though. They're getting all the resources. They want to keep the resources to themselves. You know what I mean? So they tell other people, nah, don't go there. It's not a good place to be. Don't go there. But Africa is a very good place, man. Don't believe everything you heard.
My guy. Preach the truth. The difference between Africans and African Americans.
African Americans don't know their history. They don't even know where they come from usually. I think
growing, unless they decide to do the research for themselves, growing up, you don't, because you're like born in America. My parents were born in America. My grandparents were born in America, and I never like really looked into my ancestry or lineage, and I feel like a lot of African Americans haven't. I think the difference is just, the environment that you're raised in. So you're gonna come up with different cultures. You're gonna come up with different beliefs. Because of what environment you're being raised in. So I think the difference is the environment.
Don't know their history. They don't even know where they come from usually. I would say that there is no difference though, to be honest, other than being it's all the same descendants, so it's no difference between Africans Americans, but Africans Americans don't know their history, and Africans know their origin usually.
I really feel like there's no difference, you feel me? There is no difference. The only difference is our mindset, you know what I mean? People over here, they were raised and taught that, we're better than them, or, we don't want to mess with them or, hang with them and stuff like that, but that's not true, you feel me? We cool, like, the only thing we don't like is people that, think they're better than everybody, you know what I mean? That try to bully people, that try to, do too much, you feel me? But we ain't got no problem with nobody, you feel me? Everybody is like, it's one love.
So it's just our opinions. It's just like, you can't just, like you said, you can't just base one incident off, you can't base one incident and categorize everyone.
Facts. Liberate the minds of men, and ultimately you will liberate the bodies of men. Marcus Garvey. Shout out Summer J. Robinson for this. This was definitely dope. And you got to kind of see their perspectives. And so it seems like they really had nothing but great things to say about Africa. And looking into these videos more and more, I'm starting to see like how incredible a place that Africa is. And I absolutely love to see it. But that's all we got for this one. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon. drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You can subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal. Out.